What's going on, everybody? I'm Terrence, and this is Bank Shipping. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody had a good weekend this weekend. Mine was pretty good. Got to do some relaxing, got to do some working on the Pete. Almost getting there on that thing. Once I get it to where I like it, you know, I'll definitely do a video to show you guys. I know a lot of guys have been asking. You guys are anxious to see it. So I'm doing my best to get it done as quickly as possible. A, to get it on the road, and to B, show you guys. So, but I figured I got a customer load going to a job site down in inner city Baltimore, so I figured, you know, I'd do a little bit of a POV type of deal. I went out and bought a dash cam mount for this thing, or windshield mount for this thing, but of course this morning I forgot it. So we're going to do a POV. I hope you guys like it. It might be something that I try to do a little more often. Not sure how the sound is going to be with my GPS, you know, screaming in my ear and all that, and as far as how loud my truck is. So we shall see. But yeah, so not really. I figured I'd, you know, do a little bit of talking while I was driving, but this is my first time doing this type of thing, so I'm not really sure what to talk about. You know, I'll just be rambling. Normally I'm listening to music or listening to a podcast or something, so I'm riding in silence talking to myself. I'm sure people are probably riding beside me thinking I'm crazy because I got a camera on my head and I'm talking. So but oh well, they can think whatever they want to think. So it looked pretty easy getting to this drop. I looked at it, you know, on Google Maps, and it didn't look like it was too terrible. We got to go down by the inner harbor in Baltimore, like where the aquarium and all that stuff is. So, you know, get to see some pretty sights. Might get to see a little taste on how rough these Baltimore roads can be. Now I know my truck is older and I don't have, you know, couple $1,000 suspension, you know, aftermarket suspension on this thing, so it does ride a little bit rough. It might be a little rougher than what's other people's trucks might ride, but this is just a little taste of kind of what I go through on a daily basis. And that's another reason I can't wait for this Pete to be on the road, because I'm so desperately waiting for some air ride. You know, it's not the end all be all. You still kind of get bumped around in air ride, but it's not as bad as, you know, what a pickup truck is. So and speaking of pickup trucks, you know, this morning I woke up and was doing my morning ritual, and I was scrolling Facebook before I left out, and I saw on one of the Facebook groups that I was in, a guy has a triaxle. I think it's like 3 16,000-pound axle trailer, and he's either got a F350 or 450, I think. Don't quote me on the pickup part, but somebody had commented on there about legal and things like that, as far as what he had the truck registered for. You know, he said he had the truck registered for 70,000 pounds, I think is what he said he had it registered for. So I mean, I'm not even sure if I can register my single axle semi for 70,000 pounds, but you know, so it was kind of like a debate on Facebook. I try not to do that very often, just because, you know, people get in their feelings and things like that. And I always say, you know, I'm not the type of person to tell somebody else how to run their business or anything like that. And so you know, I commented on it, but I didn't go too much in depth in it, you know, just because if that person wants to, you know, gross their vehicle at 70,000 pounds, and if they want to max it out at 70,000 pounds on a pickup, you know, that's their own prerogative. And there's a little bit of gray area, you know, when you talk about which you can register your gross combined at and things like that. You know, like I said in one of my other videos, you know, to the federal government, which regulates trucking, Hotshot is fairly new in the terms of how long it's been going on and how big it's gotten. So a lot of the rules and regulations are for semis, not for hotshots, and they kind of group you all into one category. And because of that, you know, I've had a couple of discussions, you know, when I'm at weigh stations getting inspected, you know, I'll talk to the trooper and just kind of pick their brain on what they know about Hotshot and what their knowledge is and what their interpretation of the law is, because anybody who's been in trucking for any amount of time will tell you a lot of the laws kind of seem like it's up for interpretation from the trooper that's enforcing. You know, you can go to a weigh station and ask 2 or 3 different troopers the same question, and you might get 2 or 3 different answers. So, you know, it's kind of a interpretation thing. But from what I've gathered, you know, the DMV and the troopers per se don't really care what you register your truck at, as far as how high you register your truck at, because, you know, in their minds, they're used to trucks being registered at 80,000 or more, you know, if guys are hauling heavy and things like that. So you can go to the DMV and register your truck for 70,000 gross. Perfectly fine. Now, the DMV may have some questions about it, you know, because they'll realize it's a pickup, but you can do it. I mean, this guy has it, so obviously you can do it. You know, but what it comes down to is your axle rating and your tire rating, and then also your manufacturer's max tow rating. Now, a lot of people say, oh no, the manufacturer's max tow rating, their max specs, doesn't matter. Well, they might not matter every day. You know, I was told by a couple different troopers in a couple different states, when you roll across the scales at the scale house, there's no differentiation on axle weights between hotshots and semis. So when you roll across that scale, they're going to give you 12,000 pounds on your front axle, $20,000 pounds on your drive, and then whatever type of tandem group you have, they'll give you that, because there's no differentiation. And there's also too many manufacturers as far as pickup trucks and trailers to keep track of all that. You know, you can't, you know, one, you don't know if it's not a semi, so you don't know if it's if you see a dual tandem trailer coming through, you don't know if that thing has 10,000 pound axles, 12,000 pound, 15 or 16,000 pound axles. So it's too hard for them to tell, so they just group you the same way that they would do a semi. So when you're rolling across the scale, you're fine. But where it could, I'm not saying it is, where it could come to play at is if you were to get pulled back for an inspection. So when you get pulled back for an inspection, that's when they dig a little deeper. Now, I've met people who said they've never had a trooper look at their door sticker on what they're rated for by the manufacturer on their door. I've had people say they've never, you know, looked at what their trailer axle ratings was. They kind of just did, you know, look at the lights and make sure you're not leaking anything and stuff like that. You know, a kind of quick little level one. there's the Baltimore Ravens Stadium, if anybody's wondering what that is. And then on the other side of that, other side of that is Baltimore Ravens Stadium. That's Camden Yards, where the Orioles play. Back to what I was talking about. You know, that's fine and dandy if some of these troopers don't look at that. But I have had troopers ask me to see my door sticker, and I've been hung up a couple times on my door sticker because, like I said before, my truck used to be a single rear wheel. So my door sticker, according to my VIN, has axle ratings for a single rear wheel. Now, I keep a picture in my little briefcase clipboard that I have that shows what a dually axle rating is for the year of my truck. And so most of the time that satisfies the troopers. But at first they're kind of confused because they're like, well, wait a minute, you know, you would be over your axle weight sometimes, not all the time. But when I show them the dually axle rating, that's when they understand. So yes, they will look at your door sticker. Not all the time, but yes, some will. So when they do look at your door sticker and they get an idea of what your max rating is according to the manufacturer, and they start looking at your axles and your tire rating and your things like that, you know, if you got it grossed, your gross combined over what your manufacturer specifies, and your limit or what you're weighing is over what your manufacturer specifies, it could then become a problem. You know, once they start digging, you know, it all depends on what kind of trooper it is, how good of a day they're having, on how far they want to dig into things and make your life, you know, miserable, hold you up for hours to try to figure it out. Now, like I said, I'm not against anybody doing whatever they want to do, but it's just kind of a warning that it could get you, it might not even get you in trouble. They might say, okay, you're good to go, you got the axle rating and the things like that, might be good to go. But it could lead to a problem. And then also, the last thing, I think this is my destination here, I don't really know what they got going on, but another thing is, it could lead to problems if you were to get into an accident. A lot of times things are fine until you get into an accident. You know, if you get into an accident and you're carrying more than what the manufacturer specified you're allowed to with that truck, a lawyer is going to eat that up. So yes, long and short, you can do it. But just know the consequences if you were to get into some sort of accident, or if a trooper wants to really pry, they might have some questions. Now, as things go on, it might get a little better, you know, when they understand things a little more. But as of right now, you know, like I said, there's no way for them to differentiate the two unless they pull you back for an inspection and really want to dig. So that's my little tidbit for the morning. Some people may agree with me, some people may not. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, it's somebody else's business. They can do what they want to do. But then also, you know, it comes to a fact where if you gross that much and you're actually hauling that much, you know, can you safely do that on a pickup truck? You know, my theory is no, you cannot safely haul that much weight on a pickup truck, because I don't think you can safely stop it. But that's just me. And that's why I'm in the scenario or the situation that I am, moving from a pickup truck to a single axle semi, something that is more apt to go to the job. So these guys want me to pull up here, but this box truck is kind of sticking out. I don't know if I can make it past there, but we're gonna try to squeeze by here and see what we can do. All right, so you guys saw me getting out of the truck here in Baltimore. Got out and had to fight my straps because they were basically frozen to the product, but finally got those, you know, wrapped up, and I actually put them in here in the cab of my truck so they could, you know, kind of thaw out since they had so much ice and stuff on them. I was ready to be unloaded, and they came to me and said that there was another semi that had parked up further up the road. He had got here after I got here, but they needed that product right now. So they said that, you know, he was going to back in and they were going to unload him first. And then after they got him unloaded, they would unload me. So I said, no problem, you know, just same old story, you know, hurry up and wait. So he gets done unloading, and it's my time to pull up, and it's a crane unload. And I pull up, and they lower the crane down, and they grab the first two skids off, and then they don't grab anything else. And I'm sitting here for like 20 minutes, and they haven't grabbed anything. And finally, a guy just walked up to the window, and he said, the crane broke. So they're trying to fix it, but they're thinking that, you know, it might be an hour or two if they can get it fixed. It's going to at least be an hour or two. If they can't get it fixed, then I don't know what really is going to happen. So I guess we'll just play that by ear and get that figured out. But as of right now, you know, it's hurry up and wait. So but, you know, while I got a little bit of time, well, not a little bit of time, I got a lot of time since the cranes broke. I wanted to kind of finish a little bit on what I was talking earlier, as far as, you know, what I was talking about on the Facebook group, and about, you know, registering your truck and things like that, you know, because I wanted to clarify so people weren't confused and things like that. So, you know, you can register your truck for, like I said, for whatever you want, but that doesn't mean that you won't be exceeding the manufacturer's max tow rating. And when you do that, you set yourself up for some legality issues if you were to get into an accident or something like that. Now, with that being said, 9 times out of 10, if you are in Hotshot or thinking about doing Hotshot, and you have a CDL, so you're going to run a CDL Hotshot, 9 times out of 10, you are probably going to be over that max tow rating by the manufacturer. You know, some of these newer trucks have, you know, a 40,000 pound max tow rating, you know, 35,000, 40,000 pounds. But, you know, because of that, they got higher axle ratings, and trailers are getting bigger, you know. So if a guy goes out and gets a 40,000 gross trailer, and then his truck is grossed at 30,000, you know, That's a 70,000 pound combo, but that truck might only have a 40,000 pound max tow rating, you know. So it's a bunch of numbers. It's easy to get confused. It's easy to go over that max tow rating. You know, the best thing that you can do is only haul what you feel safe hauling, what you think can stop. You know, for instance, my truck, you know, it's older. It's only got like a 16, 18 something thousand pound max tow rating. And most of the time I'm grossed over that weight because I'm a CDL hotshot. You know, I'm that 16,000 pounds empty, you know, just with my trailer, no load. So as soon as I put a load on there, I'm exceeding that manufacturer's max tow spec. You know, but that's where the gray area comes in, as far as, are you going by your max tow spec, or are you going by what the axles are rated? You know, so there's a lot to be discussed when it comes to those numbers as far as axle ratings on the truck. Because if you go by axle ratings, you know, for instance, like I said, my max tow capacity on this truck, I believe, is 16,000 pounds. But if you go by what the manufacturer specs is on the axle ratings plus my trailer axle ratings, I get a gross combined weight rating over what my max tow capacity is. So, you know, you ask yourself, which one do you go by? You know, so like I said, it's a gray area. Now, DOT is going to go by your axle ratings. That is what DOT is going to go by. They're going to go by your axle ratings, make sure that your tires are rated for that. You know, a lot of people get in trouble because, you know, they might have a 10,000 pound axle, but they don't have tires that are rated to carry the weight that that axle has. You know, so when you guys are buying trailer tires and stuff, you got to be mindful that you get the right rating on the tire for the weight rating. Now, me personally, I go above and beyond what my, you know, my tire rating is above and beyond what my axle rating is. That way I don't have any problems. But DOT is going to go by the axle rating. That is what they go by on semis. You know, if you get on look at any DOT handbook, or you just do a Google search, you know, they'll tell you, you know, 12,000 pounds for a steer axle, you know, 34,000 pounds for a closed group of tandems, 40,000 pounds for a spread. And it depends on how wide your spread is. So that's what they're going to go by. But the gray area comes into play if you, for say, get into an accident. If you get into an accident and heaven forbid you do a lot of property damage, or you kill somebody or badly injure them, or even if somebody gets a lawyer and they just want to make a name for themselves, so they come after you and your company, I can almost 100% guarantee you that is when that max tow rating from the manufacturer is going to come into play. So you just got to be careful. You got to be mindful. It is a sue happy world out here, especially when it comes to commercial vehicles. I myself, I've been the target of insurance fraud. You know, it was last year I was coming across the Delaware Memorial Bridge, and I got a phone call from the Delaware Memorial Bridge police saying that I sideswiped a vehicle. After doing some investigating, you know, and talking and back and forth with this officer, you know, I sent them pictures of my trailer. I didn't have any damage on my trailer. And I had asked him what kind of damage was done to the car. Could I see any pictures or anything like that? And he said he didn't take any pictures because the damage was minor to the car. And, you know, my exact, you know, statement to him was, if I sideswipe somebody with my trailer, it's going to do more than put some minor scratches on a front bumper. I mean, come on. You know, if I sideswipe somebody with the back end of my trailer, it's going to open their car up like a can opener. It just is. You know, it's not going to be a couple little scratches on the bumper. It's not, you know, it's probably going to rip the bumper off, break some lights, things like that. Not no minor damage. So after sending the whole thing to my insurance or whatever, it came to be that it's a scam. It was a scam. And I talked to my insurance agent a little about it, and he was talking about a lot of times people come after commercial vehicles because, see, these bigger mega fleets, they self-insure. There's a lot that goes into that. You got to have a certain amount of trucks. You got to have a certain amount of money in the bank account. That way you can pay out a claim if it was to happen. But since they have so many trucks and they self-insure, they just pay out. They got like a $500 claim. A company might set, their claim at $500. That's what they'll pay out, for a minor accident, because they hit so many things. I mean, we've seen some of these mega fleet drivers, it's like a CDL mill, man. They just pump them out. And you get the drivers with their foot up on the dashboard and stuff like that, not a care in the world, and they hit a lot of things, so you have a little scrape on a car from your trailer or something like that, and they call the trucking company, and the trucking company, they'll just pay out $500,000, $3,000 or whatever. Here, boom, there you go. Sorry. So what people get in their mind is every trucking company is like that. People start thinking every trucking company is like that. So we're easy targets. You say, hey, you call a big company, hey, this truck hit me, here's the damage, but the truck took off, he didn't stop or anything, and they pay you out money. That's the easy way to make money if you're a dirtbag, but so it becomes an issue where everybody thinks every trucking company has that type of insurance, so they see it as an easy target. And that's why, like, if you look at insurance costs for a Hotshot versus a semi, it's more money to insure a semi. Not because the value of the truck is higher, it's because the liability is higher. Now, I know it sounds crazy, and I asked my insurance agent the same exact thing. You're trying to tell me that something that is more apt to doing the job, its sole purpose is to move goods, to haul goods. Something that is built for that is more of a liability than a pickup truck that is not necessarily built for what we do as Hotshots. And he said the reason that it's more of a liability is because it is a sue-happy world. If there's an accident with a tractor trailer, no matter whether the tractor trailer is in the wrong or the right, somebody is going to try to sue. Now, they might not win, but your insurance company still has to come out of pocket to pay some money to whoever is the one responsible for finding out, if you're at fault. And so, there's still money that goes into getting you out of a claim. So that's why insurance is higher for a semi. And it seems to me that Hotshot is getting up there. As the years go by and the more accidents, the more car haulers you see laid over, insurance rates are just going up. One of the good things about Hotshot is you can get in with, sometimes you can get in with lower overhead, mainly being your insurance costs. But the thing is, after the years go by, if your insurance cost goes up to where it's the same to insure a semi as it is a Hotshot, is it really even worth it to be a Hotshot if you're paying the same overhead as a semi? Because you're not getting the same pay as a semi. So you might as well go to a semi. That's just kind of the way I think. That's the thought process that I have. And that's the thought process that I want to give to you guys. Because there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just hopping in the truck and driving. It's not just moving a load from point A to point B. That's not what Hotshot's about. There's so much more that goes into that. Now, some people may say, well, if you're just a driver and you don't own the company, it is just going from point A to point B. Well, if you want to think that way, you can. But as a driver, you should still be thinking about all that other stuff that your boss has to go through, So, with this channel, that's the kind of things that I want to talk about and the kind of things that I want to get you guys thinking about if you're either in the business or you're thinking about getting into the business. Because like I said, it's not just hopping in the truck, taking a load from point A to point B. It's really not. There's a lot that goes into this that you got to think about. You know, even the guys like me that are in the business, you know, there's a lot that I still have to think about because things change all the time. You know, it's forever changing, especially with Hotshot. The more they find out about Hotshot, the more Hotshots that come out here, the more Hotshot, you know, freight that they run. You know, DOT seeing more Hotshots now. You know, things may change, and that's something that you have to think about. Like I always say, you know, you got to stay one step ahead. You got to think 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps ahead, so that you put yourself ahead of the game, so that you're ready for whatever, you know, the market or the government, you know, who's regulating the trucking industry throws at you. So just kind of, I was thinking about it, just, you know, off the top of the head, wanted to spitball. Sorry if I was rambling a little bit. You know, I just had some time to talk. So, but we're going to try to figure out what's going on with this crane, and hopefully they can get me offloaded quickly. I mean, I don't have another load, so it's not like I really have anywhere to be, but I'd rather not set on the side of the road in inner city Baltimore, just setting. So I'm gonna use this time to try to find me another load, or hopefully a customer calls me. We'll see what happens. But either way, I'll get back with y'all. All right, guys, we have finally got unloaded. The crane was still broken, so they ended up getting a Moffett that was on site to unload us. So they didn't take them long at all after they got the Moffett or whatever. Didn't take them long to get us unloaded for that.
Turn left to Left.
So
Turn left in 400 feet.
Sorry, trying to pay attention to my GPS. I don't really know what it wants to do. But yeah, so it didn't take us too long to get out
North Green Street.
after they decided to, you know, do the whole Moffett thing. But all in all, I mean, I've been there for I think like 4.5 hours. I got there at 8:30, so quite a long time to be setting, you know, at a drop-off. But you know, that's part of trucking. All right, guys, we made it out of Baltimore, got all the way back closer to home, stopped and got some fuel, and now we are back at the yard. Ended up finding me a load for in the morning, picks up and then drops off somewhere close to home. So it keeps me in the area, especially if for any customers call me for one of their loads, I'll be close. So that worked out good. So, you know, I'm going to call it a day, shut her down, and go get a couple things done, and we'll hit it back in the morning. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, you know, the POV version, you know, or variant of one of my videos, just trying something new, just trying to see how it looks and how it works. So, you know, you guys, you know, the channel's for you. So y'all let me know if it's something you like. I'll try to do more of it. If it's something that you're not really feeling, then I won't do it no more. So let me know. And I hope everybody's out there staying safe, having a good day. And as always, stay prayed up, grind hard, and stay humble.